So we are finally getting into CSS. And CSS is what makes your page look good. Okay, we've got the HTML, which is the structure, and CSS is the presentation. So with CSS, we can change the color of our text. We can change the size of the text, the positioning of the text. There's quite a bit we can change about our images and the way our links look, all through CSS. So you're going to start with the web-based readings. And this does look like a lot, but this CSS that we are learning, this is the CSS that you are going to use over and over and over again. Hey, we will be using this throughout the semester. These readings are all very short. So make sure you read through all of this. And then you're going to go through the CSS lecture demo. This expands on those readings and kind of pulls everything together, gives you a lot of background on CSS. And then wherever possible, I give you examples to look at, or I link to a live site where you can practice yourself. So external style sheets, this is one that I use for this class. Right? And honestly, within a couple weeks, you would have learned all of the CSS. Okay? We haven't covered tables yet. So tables is going to be a couple weeks from now, but everything else we're pretty much going to cover today. So you will understand what all of that is within a couple weeks. But we do talk about the 3 different ways to put CSS into your pages, what the different rules for CSS are. And then we get into basically CSS properties and values. And one of the properties that you're going to see a lot is ones that deal with changing color. So we can change the color of the text. Property is color. We can change the background color. Okay, and that property is background. But we can also change the color of pretty much everything else. So when we change the color, the value can be a name, or it can be a red, green, blue RGB value, or a hex value. And so I do have some links to pages that have color names. This one has color names and hexadecimal values. And then I have examples of what those look like. Okay, and then here's a link to a page where you can actually try it out. Okay, and this one happens to use all color names. Okay, but we could change this and have it use RGB. And RGB is red, green, and blue. Values can be between 0 and 255. So 0 for all 3. We run that. That is going to be black. Because basically RGB, these are intensities of light. And so 0 means there is no light. If we change it to 255, okay, that's the highest light value for everything. So we get white. So it's still there, but it's showing in white. And anything between 0 and 255, we will actually start getting colors. And it's mixing red, green, and blue. Okay, so this is red, green, and blue. Then you can also do hexadecimal. Those values always start with a pound. And then there are some numbers that represent red, green, and blue again. So several different ways to get color. because we're talking about color, we do get a little into color theory. And so we've got some links to good sites. And one of the things that makes a site really good is its choice of color and spacing between elements in the page. And we also have links to poor sites. And perhaps these are so poor that they don't display them anymore. So hopefully some of these are still here. The worst websites. What makes things bad? Basically is lack of space or white space and really poor choice of colors. And so you can kind of look through this. A lot of them will be cluttered. Yeah, this one doesn't have all the graphics showing up. This one has honestly too many graphics. So yeah, you can take a look and see what are good, what are bad. And then we go through color theory. So just how different colors come about and harmonious color schemes, because when you are picking colors, it's not just going to be one. So how are you going to pick, a palette of colors for your website? And these harmonious schemes are kind of nice little formulas for picking color. So you can kind of read through that. If you are curious how hexadecimal numbering works, this little section explains it to you. Okay, and then we get into LunaPick. And so this tells you if you have a background graphic and you want to use the colors from the graphic, you can actually upload that to LunaPick and have it generate colors for you. And that'll give you some nice colors that will go perfectly with your background. And so we talk about the color property, but then also there's a background color property and a background image property, and then, how to change fonts. So everything that we cover in this particular lecture demo are things that we're going to be using all semester. Okay, so take your time when going through that so you can absorb everything. Then we do have the textbook assignment and the lab assignment. And the textbook assignment is more directive. So you've got folders that you're going to create. And then you're going to be copying and pasting some of the pages from previous weeks. You'll be copying and pasting those into lesson 4, and you'll be downloading some pages into lesson 4. Then you'll be downloading some graphics into lesson 4 media. Okay, and then what you're going to do is go through and make the CSS changes that are specified. Okay, and there's graphics and there's videos to help you determine what exactly you need to do here. And once you are done, you're going to do your lab assignment. And you're going to take that page that you created last week. So it's the page that you did with the detail summary. So it's going to be whatever page you did that is kind of like the big cat page. Okay, you are going to take that page and you are going to add CSS to it so it looks better. So you do need to select a color scheme that you're going to use. So you can kind of look at the color theory that I provided in the lecture demo. There's also links to several different sites that will help you pick color. This is just one of them. Get rid of this. And with this one, you've got one color. It happens to be the center one that is kind of your key color, and the other ones are going off of that one. And this is analogous, which is why you've got colors that are right next to each other. Okay, but you can see I could pick triad if I wanted. And I can adjust those colors up in the wheel, or I could even adjust them down here. But this will help you get harmonious color schemes. And you can see it's providing the hexadecimal number and the RGB value. So once you've kind of picked your color scheme, then you're going to do an internal style sheet. And so these are minimal requirements. So for one of the headings, you need to add this styling. For the body tag, you need to add this styling. For the summary tag, you need to add this styling. Okay. For the details tag, you need to add this styling. Okay, so this is minimum. If you want to add more styling, that is awesome. Okay, but this is the minimum that you need. And then you decide what, the different values should be. So this is an example of what mine looked like when I was done. And you will transfer those pages to the web. Make sure you update your assignment page with the textbook and lab assignment links. For the assignment page, you will need to create an external style sheet, figure out a color scheme for your assignment page. And the external style sheet, these are the minimal requirements. Okay, and here's an example of what I did. And here's a link. So you can kind of see what I did here. And then the last requirement is for an inline style for the footer. So down here on the footer, you're going to do an inline style, and that kind of overrides everything else. So that is the assignment. You're going to transfer everything up to the web. Super important that you view it online and make sure everything works, because everything is case sensitive. Okay, so even with CSS, if you have an external style sheet and you're linking to it and you name the folder capital C, capital S, but you don't use capital letters in your HTML, it's not going to find it. Okay, so make sure the upper and lowercase matches. Okay, then once you're finished with that, we do have a discussion forum. So this is CSS research. So at this point, we have learned quite a bit about CSS, but is there anything that you'd like to learn about that we didn't discuss? Now, keep in mind that we do have another lesson on CSS. It's a little bit later in the semester, and it does include animation. Okay? I just can't teach you everything all at the same time. Okay, so this is the first half of CSS. We have more to come. But you're going to select a property you want to learn more about. And then you're going to post a link to an article and then explain what the CSS is used for. And I'm going to post an example for you to look at. So hold on. All right, so I just added one for text stroke and text fill. This is some newer CSS. This is where I found it. And basically, rather than doing a text shadow with, the ones and the negative ones to get like an outline around your letter, you can use text stroke and text fill. And it's newer, so it is prefixed with WebKit. However, as more browsers recognize it, you don't need WebKit anymore. So you'll notice that I've included WebKit but I've also included kind of just the normal syntax for when you don't need WebKit anymore. Okay, so that is my example. If you guys want to reply to somebody and nobody else has completed this, you certainly can reply to mine. Okay, so that gives you guys another option. Okay, and then the only other things in here would be a little survey on how the class is going for you and a link to on-campus tutoring, which is on Thursdays and Fridays. So if you do run into problems or have questions, please reach out. I am online. I have live stream office hours Sunday night, Monday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, and Tuesday evening. And then on Thursday and Friday, we have the drop-in on-campus tutoring. So plenty of help for you guys if you reach out and ask. So please don't hesitate to ask for help if you need it, and have a great week.